I want to discuss why viewpoint diversity is essential for the university to accomplish its two core missions of teaching and research, and then also how these are often related to civic education. After all, I'm directing an institute on American civics, and so I think there is a connection there, but then conclude with some thoughts about why that cannot occur without the work of those of you in this room. It is going to require external influence. It's not going to come so much from within the university or from faculty, but it's going to require action from boards of trustees in the state legislature. So first of all, teaching. I think this is the primary mission of the university. To teach the next generation and transmit knowledge to them. I don't think the university can accomplish this mission without some viewpoint diversity, and also, very importantly, to prepare them to live in a pluralistic democracy like ours when they leave. After all, these students, they can go to college. If they don't confront ideas that they are going to confront outside of college, it might be an unpleasant and unnerving experience for them. They might get used to the idea that they are, in fact, entitled to never confront ideas that they find unpleasant and displeasing, and this is simply not the case. Now, you might doubt whether or not this is actually true, but I'm just going to give you one anecdote that I think captures this. I'm going to tell you about Jonathan Haidt. How many of you have heard of Jonathan Haidt? I've got some required reading for the rest of you. So this comes from his book, The Righteous Mind, Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion. But you should also read a book that he co-authored called The Coddling of the American Mind, written with Greg Lukianoff, that also captures some of the struggles that our students today are confronting. So here's Jonathan Haidt. He describes how he was already a tenured professor at the University of Virginia, had gone to some of our most distinguished institutions. He's a social psychologist. He went into psychology, as he'll tell you, to help elect Democrats. That was his goal. He wanted to learn about how the mind functions so they can help Democrats win elections. So he's already a tenured professor. He goes into a used bookstore in Charlottesville, Virginia, and he discovers something shocking to him. There's a book there, edited by Jerry Muller, called Conservatism, an anthology of social and political thought from David Hume to the present. And Haidt thought, well, this is strange. Conservative thought? Who's ever heard of such a thing? Because in his mind, this is what he said: as a lifelong liberal, I had always assumed that conservatism equals orthodoxy, which equals religion, which equals faith, which equals a rejection of science. Then he goes on, though. He pulled the book off from the shelf, started reading. He said, I started reading Muller's introduction while standing in the aisle. But by the third page, I had to sit down on the floor. He said, I was quite literally floored by the recognition that there was a kind of conservatism that could compete against liberalism in the court of social science. Now, Haidt did not become a conservative, but he started to appreciate some of its insights. He also started to recognize how his own education had been deficient, and then also how this affected his own teaching and scholarship, and why it was necessary to promote viewpoint diversity in the university. So he created an organization. I was one of the first 10 members, I think, of it, called Heterodox Academy, a great organization designed to try to bring some diversity, intellectual diversity to the campus.